Welcome, everyone. Tonight, we're doing something a little different. We're stepping away from the usual deep dive analysis to simply, well, tell some stories.
Very chilling stories.
Exactly. These are accounts from people who went looking for peace and quiet in remote cabins, only to find something else waiting. We're heading deep into the woods tonight, metaphorically speaking, places where the light doesn't quite reach and help is, miles and miles away. Forget feeling safe. These stories, they really challenge that idea. Sometimes the real horror isn't a ghost, it's already right outside your window.
And what's really striking is that inherent vulnerability, isn't it?
Yeah.
In these isolated spots, when there's no one else around for miles, the normal rules, they just feel different, almost like reality itself shifts a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's get into the first one. This takes place in New Hampshire. Picture a family cabin, pretty standard setup on a small lake, woods all around, miles of them. It happened about 6 years ago, summer, late at night, maybe midnight-ish. The person telling the story and their ex were just talking in bed, and the window, it was open right at the foot of the bed, letting in the night air. Then they hear it. Footsteps outside.
Okay.
Now, the ground there is covered in pine needles, right? So it's hard to move quietly. But the sound, it wasn't just someone walking. It sounded like someone trying not to be heard. Slow. Careful.
That specific detail, the attempt at stealth, that's immediately unnerving. Different from, say, an animal stumbling around.
Exactly. The sound comes again, closer this time, right outside their window. And then they both look down toward the foot of the bed, toward the open window.
Oh, no.
And they see it at the same time. A hand. A human hand just slowly reaching in through the window.
Wow.
Wow.
They screamed, obviously, woke everyone up. The narrator's father came running, but, he kind of brushed it off, said it must have been their imagination running wild.
A common reaction, trying to rationalize something terrifying. Easier than accepting the reality. Right. But the thing is, both of them, the narrator and their ex, they saw the exact same thing. Same hand, same movement. It wasn't a dream. The narrator says they still feel uneasy thinking about it. And they always shut that window now. Understandably.
And that shared experience, two people seeing the identical thing, it really undermines the just imagination explanation, doesn't it? It points to something tangible, something real.
Yeah, it really does. Okay, this next story. It involves a similar kind of unsettling presence, but it escalates quite a bit. This happened to someone when they were about 11 years old. Their family got a deal on a trip, staying at a client's ranch-style cabin near a mountain lake. Sort of a celebration for their dad finishing a long project.
Setting the scene again, remote, meant for relaxation.
Well, so the first night, the narrator is sharing a room with her younger sister, Belle, who was 8. Queen bed. And crucially, the window in their room didn't have a curtain.
Uh-oh. Exposed.
They go to bed around 11 p.m. Sometime later, the narrator wakes up because Belle is gripping their arm really tight, just sort of squeaking in fear. She sits up, looks towards the window, and sees something. Something pale, kind of human-shaped, moving away from the window glass.
Moving away. So it was at the window.
Seems like it. They told their parents, but again, kind of dismissed. Go back to sleep, come get us if you see anything else. They switched sides of the bed, eventually drifted off.
Still in that phase of minor anomalies.
Yeah.
Easy to doubt yourself, especially as a kid.
Totally. But then things change the next day. The family goes into town, gets back late. As they approach the cabin, the father just stops. He senses something's off. He reaches the door and pushes it open with just one finger. It swings right open. It wasn't latched.
Okay. Physical evidence now, not just a sighting.
Exactly. He goes inside really quietly, frowning, and waits for the family to follow before immediately locking the door behind them. That unlatched door was the turning point for him, clearly.
It should be. One odd sighting could be anything. An unsecured door after that sighting. That's a pattern.
And the pattern wasn't over. Later that night, around 9 p.m., which was early for them to be heading to bed, the narrator is suddenly woken up by their father rushing into the room. He doesn't say anything, just scoops up Belle, grabs the narrator's arm, and pulls them into the hallway. Fast.
Something must have happened.
Something did. They find the family dog, Duchess, at the back door. Her fur is bristled up, and she's making this high-pitched, scared whining sound. And the back door, it's slightly ajar.
Dog knew. Animals often do. And in a jar back door, they were inside. They were trying to get back inside.
That's what it looked like. They didn't wait to find out. Rushed out to the car. Father drove straight home. Didn't say a word the whole way. Just pure tension.
Smart move. Get out first. Ask questions later.
It took years for the full story to come out. The father finally told them he'd woken up that night to had around moaning sounds outside his own bedroom window.
Moaning sounds. Okay, that's incredibly creepy.
Right. Then he found the front door unlocked, like they knew. Inside the kitchen, some things had been moved around subtly. And then, of course, the dog alerted him to the open back door. And the final piece, when he went back the next day to get their luggage, he found footprints outside the girl's window. Several pairs.
Several pairs. Not just one person. This was planned. Coordinated, even.
Yeah. From a creepy figure at the window to an unlocked door, moved objects, an open back door, and multiple sets of footprints. It paints a really scary picture.
Absolutely. It shows a clear progression. This wasn't just someone peeking in. It was an active intrusion attempt, possibly reconnaissance, by multiple individuals. They were incredibly lucky the father reacted when he did.
Definitely feels like a narrow escape. Okay, this next one. This one is probably the most directly dangerous encounter we have. It's deeply unsettling.
Right.
This involves a child, only 7 or 8 years old, spending a weekend in a rented cabin in Colorado. It was November, so cold. The first night, again, there were strange footsteps heard outside. Unexplained.
Another auditory warning sign.
Yes. But the real horror began the next morning. The father is outside and meets this guy, Patrick. Short, stocky, wearing a veteran's cap. But Patrick seems off. He's really nervous, sweating a lot, even though it's freezing cold. He claims he's rented a cabin nearby.
Sweating in the cold, nervousness, physiological sign something isn't right. The nearby cabin claim needs verification in these situations.
Definitely. So the child is playing nearby, falls, scrapes their knee. Patrick immediately sees an opportunity. He offers Band-Aids, says he has some back at his cabin. He starts to lure the child away.
The classic lure, offering help, exploiting a moment of vulnerability.
And he starts gathering information right away. He asks the child's age, then their shoe size. He kind of chuckles and says, good to know.
No, it's data collection, not casual conversation. Age, size. Why does he need to know that?
Exactly. Red flag number 1. Then the walk to his supposed cabin takes way longer than expected, like 20, 25 minutes. It wasn't nearby at all.
Red flag 2. Deliberate isolation, getting the child further away from their parent.
They finally get there. Inside, the cabin is wrong. It's mostly empty, really messy, disorganized. Doesn't look like anyone is actually vacationing there. And the first thing Patrick does, he locks the door behind them.
Locks the door. Red flag 3, and a huge one. Control of the environment. No easy escape.
He puts the Band-Aid on the child's knee, but he holds their leg, starts rubbing it, and says something like, "You're a rather muscular kid. I like that."
Oh, God. Inappropriate touching and commentary. Grooming behavior escalating quickly.
And then he asks the child how much they weigh. The child says 73 pounds. Patrick just nods, smiles, and says, "Perfect weight."
Perfect weight. Perfect for what? That is absolutely terrifying. It implies purpose. Criteria.
The child, understandably, wants to leave now. But Patrick says no. He says things were just getting started.
Preventing escape. Confirming malicious intent. This is an abduction scenario unfolding.
Suddenly, there's a loud bang from a bedroom. Patrick spins around furious and yells towards the room, something like, "Did I fing tell you that you could move? No, stay the F where you are. I have a fat company."
He has someone else there. Against their will, it sounds like.
He comes back, tries to smooth it over, smiling again, claiming it was just his sick wife. But then a woman actually comes out of the bedroom. She looked awful. Pale, sniffling, red circles around her eyes, clearly terrified. Patrick immediately yells at her, orders her back into the room.
So the woman is likely another victim, a captive. This isn't just a predator. It's potentially something far more organized and sinister.
It seems that way. The final straw for the child was when Patrick grabbed some kid's clothes from somewhere and told the child to try them on.
Trying on clothes. That's bizarre and deeply disturbing. What was the purpose?
We don't know, but that's when the child saw their chance. While Patrick was momentarily distracted, they managed to unlock the door and just bolted, ran as fast as they could. As they're running, they could hear Patrick screaming back at the woman in the cabin and then shouting after them, "Hey kid, it's okay, you can come back now, I have toys back in the cabin," trying to lure them back even then.
Thank goodness they got away. The calculated nature of this is what's so frightening. The lies, the isolation, the measuring, the captive woman. It all points to a highly dangerous, probably experienced predator.
Absolutely. The child hid in the woods until they felt safe. When the father found out, they went to the authorities, of course, and the police discovered nobody had rented that cabin Patrick was in. Nobody at all.
Complete fabrication, using the remote location for anonymity.
Police searched the place. They found some belongings, signs people had been there, but Patrick and the woman, they were gone. vanished.
It's chilling because we don't know what his ultimate plan was.
Yeah.
What perfect weight meant. What would have happened.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Truly. Okay, our last story tonight. This one involves a different dynamic, parental awareness and a kind of silent preparation. This takes place in Ontario around Christmas time. A family is staying in a cluster of hunting cabins. The narrator is 18, her brother Tom is 11, and they have their German Shepherd, Trigger, with them. Important detail.
Dogs often play a key role as an early warning system.
Definitely. So it's Christmas Eve, around 3:00 a.m. The narrator wakes up because Trigger starts growling low in his chest. She notices something else odd. Usually, there's light under the door from the main room because her dad has insomnia and is often up late reading. But tonight, pitch black, no light.
A break in routine.
Yeah.
Another small anomaly to note.
Suddenly, her bedroom door swings open. It's her dad. He flips on the light and asks them, really intensely, "Were you two laughing just now?"
Laughing. Why would he ask that?
They weren't, obviously. They were asleep. He doesn't explain. He just goes straight to their bedroom window, pulls back the curtain, stares out into the absolute darkness for a moment, closes the curtain again, turns off the light, and leaves. Doesn't say another word.
Okay, that's strange behavior. Intense question, silent observation, no explanation. He clearly heard something or suspected something.
Seems like it. Later, maybe around 4:30 a.m., the narrator hears footsteps outside again, crunching on snow or frozen ground, followed by tapping. Faint tapping on their bedroom window.
There it is again. The approach to the window.
Trigger is wide awake now, ears pointed straight up, alert. Then they hear a voice. A man's voice. Deep and kind of husky, whispering right outside the window. It says, "I know you're in there, little guy. Why don't you come out here and play with me?"
Targeting the younger brother,
Yeah.
little guy. Predatory language, extremely unsettling.
The narrator, she's 18. She initially thinks maybe it's some kind of stupid prank by someone from another cabin. She gets angry, and she remembers her dad's hunting rifle. He was planning a hunt, so unusually it wasn't locked up. It was under her bed.
Okay, access to defense.
She grabs the rifle. She goes to the window, pulls back the curtain, ready to yell at whoever it is, and she sees him, an old man, maybe around 60, matted hair, dirty clothes, just looking creepy, and he's stroking the window pane with his hands.
Stroking the window. That's incredibly disturbing. Violating the boundary in a very personal way.
She yells at him, something like, "Get the hell out of here, or I'll shoot." She's holding the rifle up. The man's eyes go wide when he sees the rifle. And then this absolutely terrifying smile spreads across his face. Then he turns and runs off into the darkness.
The smile is the worst part. Almost like he enjoyed the fear or the confrontation was part of the thrill for him. But the rifle clearly deterred him.
It did. Turns out the commotion woke others, and the man was actually caught just minutes later wandering around the cabins. He was identified as homeless, likely suffering from significant mental health issues. The family, understandably, packed up and left first thing the next morning.
A very close call.
But here's the final piece, the part about the father. Years later, he confessed something to the narrator. He admitted that earlier that night, before he came into their room asking about laughing, he had heard the man outside his own window. He heard laughing, and he heard the guy singing nursery rhymes.
Nursery rhymes. That explains why he asked if the kids were laughing and why he was so alarmed. That's classic grooming or luring behavior targeting children.
Exactly, and he knew someone dangerous was lurking right outside. So when he went hunting prep, he intentionally left the rifle unlocked and put it under the narrator's bed. He didn't tell them someone was outside because he didn't want to scare them, but he wanted them to be able to defend themselves if the worst happened.
Wow, that's heavy. Parental foresight born from terror. He assessed the threat, knew it was real, knew it might target the kids, and made a calculated decision to arm them silently rather than risk panic.
Yeah, it speaks volumes about the kind of impossible choices isolation can force on you when you're responsible for others.
It really does. That quiet preparation, pretending everything's normal while knowing there's a potential monster just outside. It's a chilling testament to the pressures of protecting family in those remote settings.
So these stories, they're terrifying, obviously, but they really do underline how vulnerable we can be when we're isolated. A hand through a window, an unlocked door, a calculated approach, a voice in the dark.
They show how quickly things can escalate when there's no one around to help.
And how important it is to trust your instincts. Notice those small anomalies, the weird sound, the out-of-place object, the strange behavior. They might be the only warning you get.
Absolutely. Vigilance becomes paramount.
We're just glad that in all these accounts, the people involved managed to get away. They survived to tell these incredibly scary stories. But it does leave you wondering, doesn't it? If you were in that situation, truly alone, how quickly would you recognize the danger? Would you dismiss that first weird feeling?
It's a sobering thought.
It is. Well, that's all the time we have for tonight's dive into these cabin encounters. We hope these accounts stay with you in a good way, maybe making you think twice next time you're out in the wilderness. This has been a special narrative deep dive for the Horror Docx channel. If these true stories give you chills, please do hit that like button. Share this with someone else who appreciates a good, true scare. And definitely hit subscribe to become part of the Horror Docx family. We've got more spine-tingling stories coming your way. Until next time, please stay safe out there.
And farewell.